Buenas a todos. Hoy sí que sí. Ayer dije que era el último, pero no lo
Salve.
fue. Así que hoy sí que va a ser el último vídeo de esto.
Hello?
Nuestro objetivo es salvar a Dully. Y para eso tenemos que hacer que gane las elecciones Galerio. Mm. Pero para eso necesitamos
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway
conseguir
land.
algunos votos.
Greetings, I'm Georgie.
Nunca había hablado con este.
My friend. Galerius. Did you know he saved the life of my young friend Fabian? The man is a hero. But of course. I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Vale. Pero este no conseguí convencerle.
Ah, you are... Sentías... No. Sí.
Pero intentaré que Virgil...
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in there, it has to be important. Welcome back. Well, Cynthius seems to know what he's doing. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. Nice to talk to you.
Vale, he conseguido... Hay 2 votos. Aunque claro, la sacerdotisa Vestal también vota. Voy a ver si consigo... Porque estos también tienen derecho a votar.
You're allowed a weapon and I'm not.
Vamos a ver si Domicio puede hacer que vote.
What now? I'm not going.
Joder.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Pero fíjate... Si hago que salve a Fabia... El Georgie le votará.
Leave me be.
Joder, no consigo hablar con Kitty.
Leave me be.
Anda, mira. Vaya, no sabía que quería ver. Vale. Este no vota.
Oi! How did you get in there, you cheeky little sturkers? Fuck off.
Vamos a ese.
Ave again. Did you find what you need? Oh, how lovely. It just happens to be my favorite too. Who do I have to thank for this?
Ok, y que se me...
I see. So, it's from Galerius.
Joder, qué crack.
Of course I do. I think everyone in the city knows. That man is a wonderful human being, and my favorite...
A ver si consigo que ella vote.
But he is the least subtle secret admirer you could imagine. The way he looks at me with those puppy dog eyes. Plus, he's been trying for weeks to get his hands on this flower. He went to so much effort too, suspending that rope above the lake, inventing that pulley
Por eso
device
inventó
all
la
on his
polea.
own. He'd just stand there each morning, looking at the flower, trying to summon the courage to seize it. Oh, my heart. Tell that adorable oaf that my Vestal's vow of chastity ends once I turn 36. So, if we ever make it out of here, and he doesn't mind waiting a few years, then tell him I love him too.
Ay, qué bonito.
I hope so.
A ver.
It must be completed by dusk. just the same as any
Vale.
little bee. Why do all of the male citizens? Well, you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election. By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course. I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed. Certainly. See you again.
Voy a... Escucha con sus oídos. Es que... Vale.
Fortune smile on you, brother. Salve again, my Sisyphean friend. Now, what's on your mind? Thanks. What did she say? Venus, that is the best news I've ever heard in my life. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You have no idea how happy you've made me. I wish there was something I could do to thank you properly, but I don't have much to offer you. All I can do is tell you where there's a secret stash of coins you might be interested.
Vale, eso me interesa.
In the rock tunnel, near the stairs, there's a little doorway set into the rock. Inside, if you look carefully, you can see a chest. Unfortunately, one of those golden huntress statues is blocking the path. I'm not game to move it. If you can figure out how to get past it, I reckon there might be a small fortune waiting for you.
Vale.
I hope that helps in some way. All right, friend. Hope you find a way to break that cycle you're in.
El ciudadano egipcio también puede votar, ¿no? Voy a preguntarle a él. Para eso me tengo que ir al templo. Creo que era este. Sí, era este.
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Welcome.
Y además me vas a explicar el esfuerzo de poder.
I was indeed, but we've never met before, have we? I'm sure I would have remembered. Blessed me, sir. Am I losing my memory? Oh, that's a relief. For a moment, I thought it was I who was
Qué
touched.
rápido es. A ver.
I enjoyed our chat, but please, keep my presence here a secret.
Lo sé. A ver. Uf, menos mal que es un viaje corto.
Stop.
Me llama...
I am. Trousers, boots. Curious here. No, I suppose you do not. Then what do you want? To what end? That is. I was here. Now. I can
Vamos a ver.
I am at.
Si me la das, no me...
You must think this.
Bueno, no.
You are too late. It is done.
Vale.
It could not have now.
Nada, este no va. Vale, este no va a votar. Y yo pensaba que estaba ya... que serían ciudadanos. Joder. A ver. Joder,
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Remarkable.
Si es que solo tiene 2 votos. No va a hacer nada, no va a hacer nada, no va a hacer nada. Pero sí, pero sí que es un... Ya. He conseguido pillar un voto. Voy a decir. Se lo haya que ha muerto.
Oh, it's you again. Is everything all right?
Pepe.
You mean my life story? Oh, well, I grew up
Esta
as
creo
part
que ya es
of
la
a
última
big
historia.
family in Rome. Me and 3 older sisters. Our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while, until 7 months ago when the fires came. My colleagues and I worked desperately to try to protect our warehouse. We must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water, chanting prayers to Vulcan, but they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless and it claimed everything and everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river and then... the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here. Thank you. But to be honest, sometimes I think dying in that fire might have been a blessing, given what's happened since. If that's your idea of a joke, it's not funny. Go away.
Vale. Joder. No quería ofenderla.
Feeling up. That's
No puedo. Sí, te oigo. Necesito encontrar a Lucrecia. No, Octavia era como se llama. Ropa. Joder, qué temerario soy. Vamos a comenzar las elecciones porque es que... Country. Es que además ya no me queda más. La aplica mía un buen... Me da para hablar con Galerio, pero es que... Sabemos que 12 le puedo ver.
Don't you just love springtime? Salve again? No.
Nada, sí. Contar. Ah, está aquí. ¿Dónde está? ¿Se por dentro? No.
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff.
shiny.
I bet it's worth a fortune.
Nada. Este no... Virgilio y Rufio no van a cambiar su voto. Pero ¿dónde está? Aquí está sencillo.
Citizen, I thought I told you to get out of...
Me aburres. ¿Pero dónde está? ¿En la segunda planta? No.
Hey, you're not thinking about going
Siempre
into
me
the
para.
cistern, are you? What?
Ahora que la criatura me va a seguir.
Let me die.
No puede pasar de ahí. Vale, no puede pasar de la puerta. ¿Qué yo te diría la... No, por aquí no, sí que... Nunca me aclaro con esto. Creo que es aquí. No. Aquí. Ay. Necesito toda la pasta que pueda conseguir. A ver. ¿Dónde está? No sé dónde está. No, valía no la otra. Necesitamos comenzar las elecciones ya. Está anocheciendo, ¿no? Eso quiere decir que dentro de nada comenzará.
What now? No. All right.
Gracias, jefe. ¿Dónde estará?
Don't you just love springtime?
Es que no... A ver, la placa griega. No, a lo mejor está... Sé dónde está la placa griega, pero no sé... No, Horacio.
A golden bow, just like Apollo and Diana.
Aquí.
It must be. It'll be. Why do you up? As I said, I'm. Very.
Hello?
Todos sabemos cómo va a terminar esto, así que mejor me voy a la...
Citizens, it is time. Let us meet.
A ver si puedo...
Oh. What? No, Father.
I'm afraid it is.
¿Qué cojones?
Because I'm going to...
The many shall suffer.
Pero este tío que se ha teletransportado aquí. Es increíble. Quería probar a ver si era, pero es que el tío se ha teletransportado. Ha sido increíble. ¿Cómo te has podido teletransportar? Vamos. Activa yo el portal.
Yulia? Oh no. All right, I can do that. Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. All right, got it. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
Dígamelo que somos...
What? Are you... You're serious, aren't you? I doubt Domitius will let me talk to him, but I'll make sure he passes on the message. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Creo que tengo suficiente dinero para eso. Con esto creo que convenceré a unos cuantos.
That's quite an impressive bow.
Keep an eye out for Santilla, would you?
Ahora me tengo que ir arriba del todo. Impedir que se suicide. Aunque claro, ahora que lo pienso.
Don't believe a word they tell you. Not a good time, friend. Not a good time, friend.
Vale. Creo que con eso tiene 3 votos. O sea, si salva a Fabia, consigue un voto. Si salva a Fabia, tiene otro. Tendrá 3. A ver. Otra vez. Vale. Estaba aquí está. Ahora vamos a sacar. Esta sí que creo que es la última conversación.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. That's good, in a sense. If you're not on edge, you've not been paying attention. But on the bright side, once you've been here a few months, well, it's slightly less terrifying anyway. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the Golden Rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned.
Vale.
Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labor for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose. Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome, 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, there were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place. Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me. Oh yes, of course. A slip of the tongue.
Sí, claro, tú eres cristiana.
If you like. I'm afraid not. Although, I did once hear someone gossiping down at Aurelia's tavern about a possible way out. I don't put a lot of stock in such rumors, but if you're desperate and wealthy, you could look into it, I suppose. If that doesn't work, then I suppose we're all stuck here until the gods decide our fate. Oh, I see. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm sorry I even suggested it. I won't make that mistake again. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I think about those words a lot. I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbours as ourselves, and do to them as we'd have them do to us, then we'll all be fine. But on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and that all of us are born with a tendency towards sin. And that's where I get stuck. Is it true? Are we born with a tendency towards sin? You don't think that's a little naive? I suppose you've never seen what I've seen. Innocent men and women, torn apart in arenas while thousands of Romans look on and cheer. If that's true, then sooner or later, things are going to end badly for all of us down here. Unless, of course, there's some kind of divine intervention. I wish I shared your faith. Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here. Things are very difficult for us right now.
No te preocupes que en unos cuantos años seguir la religión dominante.
And our emperor decided to make us his scapegoats. There were executions. It was horrible. Oh, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. Ah, that's a shame. Another time then.
Ya ve. ¿Qué pienso? ¿El palacio dónde está?
I hope you're coping. Be careful who you trust.
Lo sé. Vale, por aquí no había esto. Una puerta. No.
Wow. Your lamp is incredible.
Vale.
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the Centius, I suppose. Stability is always... Yeah? Certainly. Pleasure doing business. Very well.
Citizen, name's Rufius. Galerius. Sorted out my rheumatism. Fine. See you.
Dos votos para Galerio.
Ah, a fellow trap greetings. I'm George. My Galerius. But of I
Ah, I hear we have... Galerius, definitely. He put an end to the notes and graffiti I've been receiving. All right. Night.
Vale. Joder.
Oh my. So, May.
Le voy a decir a eso y a Livia le voy a tranquilizar el corazón. Aquí.
Don't believe a word they... Shalom, friend. You mean where am I from and all that? Judea, originally. But when I was a child, I moved to Rome with my family. Romanized my name and spent most of my life in the Jewish district of Trans-Tiberim, across the Tiber from the main city. That's where I was when the fires broke out. Everyone was running toward the river and I, listening to my inner contrarian, ran the other way. Every road leading out of Rome was in chaos, full of people with all their belongings in carts and brigands preying on them. Several hours down the Appian Way, I saw another Jewish family being attacked by 3 opportunists. So I picked up a branch from the side of the road and went to defend them. I can only assume they got the better of me because the next thing I knew, I was waking up in a forest, by a river not far from here, with no memory of how I got there. It's strange though, because I still had my purse on me. Why would a robber knock me unconscious and throw me in a river but not take my coins. A lot of good it did me, and that family. I sometimes wonder what happened to them.
Joder. Ay. Joder. Fíjate qué carita. Otro que
I
me
don't,
parece bastante majo.
But even if I did, I'm not going anywhere. I have unfinished business. Well, neither of us have a couple of hours to stand around talking about theology, law, and collective punishment, so I guess you're looking for a pithy summary? You remind me of an old story from my people about Hillel the Elder. He was approached by a Gentile and asked to explain the entire Torah while he stood on one foot. Obliging, he replied, "What is hateful to you, do not do to another. That is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Go and learn." Of course, what I want to know is, what kind of a god sees a young woman abducted and does nothing about it? Not my god. That's for sure. Thanks. I just wish there was a way to find out. Galerius. He saves my life. I have a feeling he can do a lot more if given the chance. All right, friend. Thanks for the chat.
He conseguido que Galerio gane por mayoría. Todos le van a votar. No, esta es... Joder. Pero sigo teniendo la flor. No, creo que no. A ver si encuentro a Valerio. Voy a activar un nombre virtual. Aquí. Vale, seguramente me dirá.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them? You're toying. You're a...
Joder.
Anyways, Oh, that's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right?
I tell you.
Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you... Oh, anyway, I'm... What? How did you know? If you can figure out... I've bounced the idea around once or twice, mainly as a way of getting Dooley set free. God knows Sentius is never going to do it. But from what I hear, Malleolus has the election stitched up. Nobody's going to take him on and win. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, he talks a lot about freedom, so I'm hoping if he's elected, he'll release Dooley from his cell. And that's good enough for me. He did? Oh, that was unexpected. I wonder what could have possessed him to do that. Well, I guess it's time for me to step up then. I'll let Equitia know I'll be running. All right, friend. Hope you find a way to break that cycle you're in.
Vale. Con esto ya está todo solucionado. Sí, todo depende de mí. Tengo que encontrar a Equicia.
Don't believe a word they tell you.
Pero parece que hay un bot, porque según le conté al principio, le dije ya que se presentara. Y me ha dado una conversación como que no se había presentado. Aquí está.
It'll be why do
Citizens, it is time.
Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Time to go to the theater.
Dory, te vamos a liberar. Joder, qué rápido solo. Vaya que usted.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helva. Marcus Malleolus Verges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Solo dice voy a votar a Sentius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Galerius.
Virgil.
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helva.
Por favor, que no entre.
It has been decided. Magistrate Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted. Now that you've put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
Venga.
It's almost as if you're trying to extend my lifespan.
Vale. Y con esto consigo la placa.
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
Oh, will.
I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georges I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello? I'm Dooley. Magistrate.
Sí, este tío está basado en Gollum.
Thank the newcomer. Are you the newcomer?
Sí, eso.
Oh, it is you. Then, thank you. You're a big helper. I was locked up, but they let me out again. I'm so happy. You can have my shiny plaque if you want, and maybe you can help me find my treasure. My friend Hannibal used to look after me, and he said he always would, but before that, he told me if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious. He gave me a key to the cisterns and told me to keep it safe. He said there's something very precious way up high. Please help me find it. Please. I had to keep it a secret until I found someone I could trust. Oh, thank you. Here's the key. Hope you find it. In the cisterns, way up high, Hannibal said. Oh, look over there. Something shining. Is it treasure? Maybe it is treasure. I can see it from myself. So pretty. And it's just lying out. Maybe nobody wants it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
¿Qué coño? ¿Qué ha pasado? ¿Qué coño ha pasado? Date vida, Sencio. Joder, tú eres el villano y no para de... Ni se te ocurre. ¿Has hecho algo? Super Looper.
All right then, I'll get out of your way.
Qué majo, Valeria. No. Sí, te digo, aquí.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone just at but. And now we share a...
Vale, no quería cortar ese video. Claro, cuando yo hago el viaje en el tiempo, él no lo reconoce. Joder. Mierda, 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 mierda. Que es que se me olvidó que tengo que pedirle que no... Para ayudarle a que no se suicide. ¿Dónde está Galerio? Y Ulpio. Joder, quiero que salvar a todos. Bueno, estoy casi todos. Ducio me da una... Normalmente está por aquí, ¿no? Ahí está Galerio. Nada. Dios, debí de haber hecho todo. Pero bueno, tengo que... Vamos a ver. ¿Dónde está Rufio?
What? Real? No.
Ya está, cubre la... Rufio. Joder, Fabia y el asesino. No, espera, Ulpio. Primero Ulpio.
All right.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. Wolf PS.
That's...
What?
What? I'm...
Please help.
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone. Well, if you say so. You don't understand. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want it all to be over. It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact. And she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that. Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
De hecho...
Really? Wait. So, I guess you'd want me to work for you then. You'd do that for us? A couple of complete strangers.
Por supuesto.
It seems today we are both blessed. This did not turn out how I thought. Thank you, friend. I never thought people like you existed. Thank you. I'll go and pay off our debts immediately. I just wish there was some way I could repay you. But I have nothing but the tunic on my back. I'll go and take care of things with Malleolus and tell Yulia the good news. Thanks again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for us.
Vale, a ver, tengo que abrir el aljibe superior. Pero claro, Duley no será liberado a no ser que...
I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Vale, y aquí es donde... Vale, aquí está esencia. Esta era otra manera de llegar aquí arriba. Vale, perfecto. Simplemente es esto. Pero claro, no me sirve de nada si... Tendría que crear otro loop, pero no. Ahora vamos a hacer... Vamos a enfrentarnos al dios. No, a Fabia, me queda Fabia. Fabia y el asesino. Mami. No puedo ir por aquí. O sea, para ir ahí...
I hope you're coping.
Thank you.
Ya está. Ah, ya que estamos...
All right. Wait. It's next. What? Don't even talk to me.
Ahí está. Bueno. Ya está esa era la que quería hacer.
I hope you're coping.
Y este ya es el gran final. ¡Ah! Tengo que decirlo en orden inverso según... Claro, cada puerta es un nombre. Entonces aquí es Osiris. Y aquí es Nergal. ¿Qué cojones? Esto se está parecido. Esto ya literalmente se parece al Assassin's Creed. ¿Qué cojones es esto? Me cago en la mar. Hostia puta. A ver.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, Immortal, ever since your arrival. You're unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly that there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will.
Por fin.
My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more
Joder.
specific. What do you wish to know?
Esto se parece...
It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by you mortals, not one I gave myself. Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful, just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all that, there are rules even I must obey. My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your kind. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords. Desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow, while an acquired taste can be addictive. No. Long ago, I swore to Persephone that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among
Ay, qué romántico.
I must honor that. This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians,
Isis para
Isis
los
to the
egipcios,
Egyptians,
Perséfone para
Persephone
los
to the
griegos,
Greeks,
Perséfone para
and
los
Persephone to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal.
Entendido, te haré caso.
Your gaze lingers too long. That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names.
Anda, Caronte, ¿cuánto
Kultubal
tiempo?
to the Sumerians, Kirti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions. As you wish. It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists
Puerta que
because of
hace
a wager
mucho
I made
tiempo.
long ago.
Puerta que decir.
That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago, my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates us into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Proserpina saw raw potential in me, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law, and you called us gods. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion, and soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough, and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Proserpina could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Proserpina's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. But he refused. I did everything I could to persuade him, but he would not relent. He would rigidly uphold his final pronouncement. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you, without interfering, and to sit inside.
Un año, y llevan 7 meses.
So my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith in me, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all this time, still waiting.
¿Cuántos años lleva esperando?
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names, but perhaps you knew them by their Roman names. Our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Vesta, Ceres, and of course, my beloved Proserpina.
El Panteón Romano.
As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable.
Por eso se ha ido construyendo una sobre otra.
I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over the centuries, they were replaced by Egyptians. Of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians promptly built over what had been built before, and made all the same mistakes. After another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive, and then the Romans, and they all did the same thing. They built upon the underworlds of their predecessors, renamed their gods, and ensured their foundations were forgotten. To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, us all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's Obol, or as coins for the pharaoh. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing which coins were fashioned from the original tokens. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock, and Persepolis along with it. It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer, a troublemaker. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if describing memories of a dream. His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic of Gilgamesh. His words were twisted and distorted over generations.
Creo que en esta época todavía no se ha descubierto el poema de Gilgamesh.
Stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate and labyrinthine. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place in their priests' pursuit of Then when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning. And in a series of incidents that will not be repeated, 5 of them escaped. A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan named Aeneas. They each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here, and how to escape. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place, though each story contained only a seed of truth. Of course, that is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing. That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerians finished building their city, the self-declared ruler threw a banquet to celebrate. Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife. Prestigious position, power, and influence in a new world. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at the banquet wearing eye-catching dresses and painted faces, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage to win the ruler's affection, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets, and rings fashioned from gold. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman grew envious, for she had no such jewelry at her disposal. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her own hands. While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion in a quiet place. She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat, where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those who sin in my domain. But that was not enough, for the entire city was tainted by her sin, and the wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all, to make way for a new wave, and began the wager again. And to this day, Each of them, and all who came after, line the halls of this city, inanimate but conscious, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, silent golden sentinels. I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon yourselves. And so you ask if I am the one destroying your lives. And I say, no, you destroy yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it. When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. Consolation prize of sorts. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, who the Romans called Diana. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and equipped them each with a duplicate of her bow, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. They became known simply as Furies. I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible scenarios. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations. The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to uphold it. Curious, is it not? For you, perhaps. I am able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes. If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask? Then what an odd question. Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me an example? I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others. Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. A literal interpretation helps to minimize the ambiguities of your primitive language.
Men, ¿qué cojones? Si nuestra lengua está llena de ambigüedades, ¿no significa eso que la regla es inherentemente subjetiva y poco fiable?
Supposing you are right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No, por supuesto que no. No.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
Un precio desorbitado por una media.
The merchant. How is that inconsistent with the rule I've outlined?
No querrá que otra persona pidiera un precio.
I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway.
No sabe lo que... Espera, solos. No sabes lo que esperas, son solos.
Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation.
No significa eso.
Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man.
¿Crees que sabes lo que piensa el...
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I've overlooked?
Una esta.
Ah, the tavern keeper, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule? I disagree. Having watched that tavern keeper, that is precisely what she would expect from others. She would view it as a game, one she intends to win.
Pero no estoy de acuerdo.
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to...
Joder, todo termina de la misma manera.
Is that what you want?
No.
Now tell me, what...
Servidumbre de
You speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
No, qué raro.
And he would never have signed a contract pledging his labor for 30 years. All he did was enforce the terms of a contract signed voluntarily by others.
Por deudas, al igual que la esclavitud no es ético. En el lugar de donde vengo es ilegal, de acuerdo con las leyes internacionales.
Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority. This is interesting. I'm curious. How do people escape poverty where you live from?
Si esto es habitual pedir un préstamo para comprar en algún lugar.
I see. And how long might it take such a person to repay their debt?
Depende, demanda cada vez.
I fail to see how your system of loans is significantly different to a debt bondsman signing over his labor for 30 years.
No es lo mismo. Sobre todo porque nosotros
Supposing you're right, then my law...
Joder, siempre termina en la misma.
Turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
Experimentos.
The midwife and the palace, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
Dudo que quisieras que es mí.
The rule is do unto others, meaning other people. Those statues are something else now. Bloodless shadows, mere shapes of their former selves. They are forsaken. What happens to them is no concern of mine. Now tell me, what other sins...
No voy a entrar otra vez en esa discusión porque veo cómo va a terminar. Secuestro.
Abduction? You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter in the cistern, I take it. He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take particularly seriously. Better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to punish her. Wouldn't you agree? Now tell me, what other sins do you believe?
Ya hemos llegado al final. Y espero que no caiga. No me extraña que la gente diga que los dioses son crueles. Esto solo demuestra lo poco subjetivo que es tu código moral. Te cuesta distinguir el bien del mal igual que a cualquier otro mal.
Do you honestly think you could do better?
No, pero a eso me refiero. Nadie tiene idea tan clara del bien y mal como para poder confiarle tanto poder. Te has convertido en un tirano. Saca el... Basta de ya, voy a poner... Y si lo hicieras me darías...
Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning?
Te puedes cargar al dios.
Very well.
Esa no...
Good. Then now it is time for your reckoning. Only, it seems, something is wrong.
Espera, ¿quién coño creó el portal?
Been within my power to see to the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. But when I peer into you, I see only a blank slate, as if you did not exist until you appeared in this city. How is this possible? Charon, where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here? If that is true, then I sense the intervention of someone powerful.
How did you come to be in this time, mortal? Who brought you here?
He cannot know.
I do not know. My kin departed long ago, and Proserpine slumbered for 3,000 years.
No deberías saberlo como el dios. Supongo que no estás al corriente de todo lo que ocurre en este.
Tread lightly, mortal. Enough of this. It seems I will need to put your reckoning on hold for now. And answer this. Why have you come here? What is it you seek? Your hubris is amusing, so I will allow you to make your case. I warn you, if you anger me or waste my time with lies or wrong-headed arguments,
Joder!
face death here. So, tell me, why should I put an end to the so-called Golden Rule? How so? And be specific. You have made a grave allegation, and I expect you to back it up.
Desio está poniendo los precios de Medema.
True. I have witnessed him doing that. He is a volatile and confused fellow, that one.
Yeah.
I admit, I have grown disturbed watching them. His cruelty does seem to grow greater by the day. If you're right, my involvement has corrupted the very thing I sought to observe impartially. But if I were to accept that, are you telling me these humans could coexist peacefully, without theft or violence, without my law?
No, pero los humanos tienen que poder utilizar las fuerzas. ¿Qué cojones respondo aquí? Sí.
You are either deluded or a liar. You will make a fine statue.
Basta de chacha, voy a poner...
Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with that primitive weapon?
¿Eh? Puede que sea, pero tu amad.
How dare you threaten her? This ends now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
¿Qué coño ha dicho? Bah. Vamos a volver con esta historia. Vamos a pasarlo toda la conversación rapidísimo.
Of course. That is. If she was. Now tell. No. I did. No. And ignore. I see. Now tell. Now. Now. Do you? I should strike you down for that.
Aquí está. Y si lo hiciera me darías la razón.
Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning? Very well. Good. Okay.
Puedes saberlo. Es que cojones, ¿qué hago? Dice que haya 2 aposentos, pero... Pero es que me... No debes de... No. Usamos la violencia para el alma como...
And how is that working for you?
En lugar de que vengo dentro de... funciona bastante bien. La esperanza de vida media está aumentando ya.
So you say, and yet your world is still imperfect.
Cada vez es mejor un día nuestro mundo siempre es imperfecto, pero la clase de fuerza que se requiere para crear una utopía de... Pocara en tira.
You have spoken eloquently, and yet, if what you say is true, it follows that my wager was fatally flawed from the beginning. But that would mean Jupiter, Proserpina's father, who knew more about you than anyone, proposed a wager I could never win. Why would he do that?
Igual él también cometió un error. Igual quería que abandonas.
Perhaps, but if that was so, surely I would have sensed his deception. How could I have been so blind for so long?
No es... Quizá cuando... Quizá toma por verdad.
Your words sting mortal. But perhaps it is what I deserve. As difficult as this is to admit, I have suspected as much for a long time now. And I cannot deny it any longer. I've been so fixated on taking my beloved to Elysium that every time one of you sinned, it wore away my hope of being with her again. In time, I began to despise your kind for making her believe that you could ever be better than you are. But my rage was not born of malice. Quite the opposite. Everything I have done, I did because I loved her. Who knew this empathy of yours, that you celebrate so much, could have such a dark underside? This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this. If I abandon the way Jern Lee for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend.
Solo queremos volver al mundo. ¿Por qué no podemos ir?
Because doing so would violate the rules of my sacred agreement with Jupiter, and you would receive a hostile reception. The best I can do is return you to the land of the living. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest. Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place, and you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready? Farewell, mortal.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fray. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. No, I'm Fick Fortune. Apparently, they believe then. An oracle saving the life of a dying woman. Preventing the suicide of a man in debt bondage.
Oh, mierda.
Foiling an assassination attempt. And so on. Then, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to him. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook, and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him, and the other people who lived here? What happened to all the golden statues? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years? What? Oh, I see. For a moment there I thought you were serious. Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city. Follow me. I'm gonna...
Vale, me he saltado la mitad de la conversación. Pero ya me imagino que decía. Y ahora vamos a hablar con Karen.
You're back. But you're alone.
Te encontré.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
He devuelto que no eres quien dijiste ser. Recuerdo haberte conocido hace 2000 años.
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You can just call me Charon, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned, from 5,000 years of experience, that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gratitude.
Bueno, está.
That you died, of course. Usually, as you, unfortunately, that you were each in possession. It means I am now bereft of purpose. There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course. Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths to pay the ferrymen for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago...
Vale, esto creo que ya...
It means I am now... There is nobody else to ferry. I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you.
Kinda lost.
You
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
He conseguido el último vez. ¿Un año más tarde? Estoy en un museo.
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read your book, and what the critics said about it. I guess they weren't ready for your theories about the underworld. Anyway, after everything you've been through, I thought you might appreciate some good news. So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius' tablet, and I found something strange. I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you, I just really wanted you to see this for yourself. Why don't you head on down there? I'll catch up with you at the other end.
Fíjate qué bueno. Y están los... Pero juraría que esto se supone que debí... Una estatua de Antonio Ramón Brand. Creo que esto me imagino que sería un panel táctil, pero no sé. ¡Hombre!
You're finally here. Remember me? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Charon appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. He even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me, but I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second chance at life. Oh, I used Charon's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and I won't change it for the world. I know. I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged.
Ay, me alegro por ti, Galerio, te lo
We're
mereces.
planning to get married next spring. If you're going to be around, we'd love to see you there.
Me encantaría, cuenta.
Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you. So you better keep moving. We'll speak again soon, my friend.
Oh, hello.
Mira, Dooley.
You're here. It's lovely to finally meet you. Galerius told me all about you. So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the last of the Roman gods. As I'm a priestess, you realize you've put me out of work. I'm just teasing, actually. And it still feels a little sacrilegious to say this. I'm finding life after religion quite enjoyable. Galerius and I are engaged and expecting. We've just bought a lovely villa in the countryside with room for a large family. And Dooley too, of course. It feels like the world has just opened up for us. There's so much to learn and so many more possibilities for our children than we ever imagined. We're just so thankful for what you did for us. For all of us. Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely. In fact, she's here somewhere, if you'd like to ask her yourself. See you at the wedding, I hope.
Hello, I'm Dooley. Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper. Thank you for getting us out of the bad place. I didn't like it.
It's you.
I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. They look after me now and help me remember when I forget things, like brushing my teeth. Treasure? Oh, I forgot about that. I like my box now. Galerius got me a box that tells stories. It's my favourite thing. Bye-bye.
Joder.
It's you.
Horacio, se volvió militar.
Hey.
It's you.
Oh, hello.
There he is.
En relieve.
Hey.
Se volvió militar.
Hi there, I'm Horatius. I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life, and reuniting Scintilla with us as well. So, thank you. I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. I'm going to be an officer one day. The world's changed a lot, but some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tactics from my time? Alexander the Great, Caesar, Hannibal Barca. Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. As Seneca wrote, the ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides. Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. I grieved for a time, but that's done. In the words of Epictetus, as those who rode behind triumphant generals remind them they are mortal, remind yourself your precious one isn't one of your possessions, but something given for now, not forever. Thanks. He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. He had more trouble adapting than most. He got himself disqualified from the UFC. So he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament, like we had in Rome. Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch of men like that. But his luck finally ran out. And his life along with it.
La espada
You know what they say. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Parece que sí.
You're not wrong. And you. Farewell.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming. Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated with Sentius after what happened. I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time. But he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again. Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please. Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for me, because it's just awful out there. Everywhere. He's still there,
All
Y que
alone,
tiene
the
rojas el
last
ángulo.
golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell,
¿De qué
slowly
me suena
losing
eso?
his mind until
Si no
the
era el
end.
castigo de Prometeo.
Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me.
Uno. Beber para siempre.
Then I suppose he got his wish. You too. See you around.
Hi there.
Hello.
Vaya, Yula.
You're the Oracle, right? Oh, of course, sorry. And I never got a chance to thank you for telling Galerius how to save my life. And of course, getting me and all of us out of a terrible situation. Oh, I barely recognize myself. I'm living in a house share in London with my wonderful girlfriend. And I'm studying English at university. Eventually, I want to travel the world and write about it. Turns out, it's about 30 times bigger than the Roman Empire ever was. Did you know there are entire continents Rome never knew existed? And you can travel almost anywhere in an aircraft, which is rather like flying on a Pegasus, but much more comfortable. Oh, sorry, you already know all that, of course. I'm just so excited. There's so much to see and learn and write about. I have noticed people from your time have no idea how fortunate they are. I hope to change that. One day. Last I heard, Malleolus kept insisting he was the last ruler of
Y
the
como
Oh,
world.
encerrado en un hospital
And wound up being
psiquiátrico.
committed to a psychiatric hospital. As for Claudia, she was always so viciously unhappy. Someone said she'd blown all her money on wine, trying to drink herself back to the underworld. After the horrific way they treated Ulpius and me, I can't help feeling a sense of... what's that German word? Schadenfreude?
Creo que tiene permiso para rendirse.
Thank you. You're very kind. Ugh. Someone told me she was boasting about getting her claws into some rich prince, and how she was going to be living the high life from now on. Even in your time, life still isn't fair. Apparently he'd proposed before they'd even met. And last I heard, she'd bought herself a first-class one-way ticket to join him in some exotic place called... what was it? Nigeria? Some people have all the luck. Really? Huh. I feel better already. Thank you.
El príncipe nigeriano. ¡Qué bueno! Es que a orilla de la taberna se lo tiene merecido.
You too. If you're ever in London, let me know. We can go to bars and drink wine and listen to the stories of the 9 million people who live there.
Te tomo la palabra.
I hope so.
Long time no see. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone. Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I hear you drove the last of them off. So... I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the responsibility of keeping everyone in the city alive, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudgingly, one patient at a time. You too, don't be a stranger.
Vaya, vaya, me alegro de verte, filósofo. Pensaba que se te habían
I
olvidado de
take
ti.
it you're the oracle everybody's talking about. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Ya no se me olvidan de aunque.
We have, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Por fin sé su nombre.
I'm Philip. I never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century. What a time to be alive. And it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it. I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks once again.
Mira, y Fabia y Giorgio.
Hello. Magnificent museum, is it not?
Una estatua de ira de metadesa de cosas y más. Bueno, es Proserpina.
Greetings. You must be the legendary oracle. It is a sincere privilege to finally make your acquaintance. I am Georgius. I am told we have you to thank for freeing us from Hades, and for that I am most grateful. I am reacquainting myself with Greece. It has changed so much over the last 2,000 years, I barely recognize it. This is at once heartbreaking and thrilling. Perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down in Santorini in a villa overlooking the Azure Aegean Sea. I hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you faced off against the fearsome god of the underworld and won. You too, my friend.
You're here. It's so good to see you.
A esta sí que la vi.
I wanted to say thanks for stopping me from going into that shrine. I still think about that all the time. And for getting us out of there. I'm just so happy to be here. With you. And everyone. Together again. Even if it's just for one more night. Well, it's not like I have to work with all the silver Karen gave me. So, I just do what makes me happy. Mostly that means baking for my friends and looking at memes while binging
Hago
TV
maratones
shows
de series en Chanta. Es una buena vida.
alive.
Mira que sí. Sí.
Oh, it really is. You too.
Some soiree, innit?
¿Qué cojones hace este tío vivo?
We meet again, old friend.
A decir que somos amigos así es demasiado.
Oh, there's no need to be like that. Whatever happened back then was water under the bridge. We all did things we regret. Desperate times and all that. And listen, I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old relics I accumulated. Whatever you did in that temple made me a very wealthy man. Thank you.
No hace falta así absoluto.
Such a acerbic wit. I love it. I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now. In fact, I was hoping to ask your advice, you being the Oracle and Future Seer and all that, on which stocks I should invest in next. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you reckon?
Joder. Me tengo que...
Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't take no for an answer.
La alquilada de pero la televisión va a ser la siguiente. La prensa impresa va a volver siempre. Esto.
Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go home and buy up as much stock as I can tonight. I'm gonna make a bloody fortune.
Tengo que irme. Sí, sí.
Of course, don't let me keep you. Thanks again for the tips, my friend.
Sí, sí, sí. Ya, tú lo has buscado. Que te joda.
Good evening.
Hello there.
Estoy con la que menos... Bueno, es que también interactúo con él.
You're here. It's so lovely to see you again. I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit the lights first. But thank you for coming and for saving our lives. What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it. I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber. Not far from my old place. Oh, and I'm training to be a crisis counselor.
Así me
Watching you
gusta.
persuade Ulpius not to take his own life inspired me. I just want to spend the rest of my life helping people, like you helped him. Thank you. That means a lot. And you. Oh, and I hope this isn't too forward, but some of us are going out for a drink after this, if you'd like to join us. Wonderful. I'll see you soon.
We meet again. Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I never once imagined that I might end up in a place so much like Elysium. I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while, at least until I'm well enough to be independent again. She still talks wistfully of you. Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I have 2,000 years worth of poetry to catch up on now. I'm already up to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I may have found a kindred spirit. Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence. And you. Farewell, friend.
What is up?
Casbas.
It is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle. You know my name? Oh, of course. You are an Oracle. You know many things. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place, and for your role in bringing us here. This world is truly wondrous. For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another fisherman, and I came to see there is nothing for me there. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. It is a great adventure, and I have met many people from many cultures. I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, I think it is time I had some fun.
Parece que...
Indeed. Thank you, Oracle.
Y eso que no, que era bastante fanático religioso. O sea, me alegra saber que ya no es tanto.
Hello. Good to see you. I go by Rufus now. New start, new name. Oh, and thanks, by the way, for showing me how to treat my rheumatism. I probably would have lost my mind if it wasn't for that willow bark. Although I think your people have a different name for it. Aspirin, I believe. Thank you. Really. Sorry, I'm no good with the mushy stuff. I live with Virgil in Rotterdam, not far from where he grew up. It's very modern. Destroyed in the war, and it...
Sabía yo que estos dos terminaban juntos.
place for a fresh start. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with my life yet. One adjustment at a time. Huh. Good to know. Anyway, it was good practice for the new world. Security cameras.
Se puede bajar la guardia. Vale, has quitado tu paranoia con una cosa, no la vuelvas con otra cosa. No te veo, güey.
You too. Look us up next time you're in the Netherlands. We're grateful.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out of there. And for helping Rufus come to terms with himself. He may come off a little gruff, but once you get past that, he's a lovely fellow. I'm studying to be an architect again, and living with Rufus in our beautiful flat in Rotterdam. Just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets full of educated, accepting people.
Sí,
You
los Países
natives of
Bajos
the
es muy
21st
bueno.
century have no idea how fortunate you are. You too, as Rufus said in his own laconic way. If you're ever in the Netherlands, we'd love to show you around. It's the least we could do.
Espera, ¿quién queda esta esencia ahí? Ulpio, ¿no?
Hello there.
Sencilla.
Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. After you drove Pluto off, Proserpina came and released me, and that monster got what was coming to him.
¿Qué sé yo?
I'm living with Ulpius on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's even more wonderful than I dreamed it would be. I'm so grateful to you for making sure he's still with us. If you're ever passing through the region, I hope you'll come and visit us. You can try some of our very own wine.
Puede.
Thanks. You too.
Hi.
De cómo estaba.
Good to see you under better circumstances than last time. I wanted to thank you for saving my life and getting us all out of there. The way you just showed up out of the blue and stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I'll be forever in your debt. I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. We finally bought the little vineyard we always dreamed of. It'll be a little while before we know what we're doing, but every day I look at her and this extraordinary new world with all its beauty, and I think, what if I'd given up hope? And missed out on all of this. So we're living each day to the fullest. And we end them all the same way, sitting together on our terrace with a glass of our wine, which the locals say is almost drinkable now, and watching the sunset over the rolling hillside. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you. I wouldn't be here without you. You too.
Y aquí están los objetos. La placa griega. Esta no se me deja algunas no se deja interactuar. Muchas creo que son sacadas de... Placa en latino, todos deben haber. jarra de vino, una tabla cristiana. Una muchos sufrieron por el pecado. Un extraño objeto de piedra en forma de mal tiempo. Bueno, vale. Sí, tengo que pasar por todo. Joder, bueno, aquí ya no queda tanto.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to.
Pero Serpina.
You know her.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long
Sí,
time.
¡Joder! Sí, creo que es verdad.
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention.
Espera un momento. ¿Qué pasó con la que ha de...
Indeed.
Lucrecia?
Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected. I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath. So I whispered to Sentius in secret, telling him the prayer required to create a portal in my shrine. I knew the danger of humans being corrupted by godly power, and so I put a safeguard in place. I required the creator of the portal to sacrifice their own life, so that it could only be used selflessly.
Pues aún así lo sigo usando de manera interesada.
Anticipate is that Sentius would retain his accumulated memories from each previous day, and as a veteran soldier he had long since shed his fear of death. He quickly discovered that he could, in effect, prolong his own life indefinitely by exploiting the cycle. Of course, once I had taught him the prayer, I could not unteach him, and there was little I could do but wait for someone like you to come along and see him for what he was. We are all fortunate you came along when you did. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way. Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day. And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city? Good, because they remember you.
Eh?
Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.
¡Hostia puta! ¡Qué puñetero buen final! Pero no sé, Lucrecia sobrevivió al final, ¿no? Lo que me jode es lo de Dacia. Espero que se arruine. Ese tío merece arruinarle. Ay. Ay. Un mensaje de los desarrolladores. Esperamos que haya disfrutado. Vale. Bueno, pues hasta aquí ya se termina el directo y esta serie de juegos. La verdad es que este sí que me lo pasa bastante rápido. O sea, tenías que hacer todo lo posible para que luego pasarle todo el conocimiento a Galerio y él fuera elegido. Ay. Y con eso poder conseguir la última, que era la más difícil. Pero lo que no sé es Lucrecia, ¿qué pasó con ella? Era la que estaba experimentando con estatuas de oro. O sea, es que no sé, no me la encontró y no la han mencionado. El broker todavía entre el público. Ya que todas las estatuas han hecho. Bueno, pues nada. Ya nos veremos en el siguiente directo. Que no sé cuál será. No sé cuál voy a jugar ahora. Así que bueno.